It's so interesting because that's most of the inner work I'm doing now is like trying to trust more and just let go and go with the intuition and not question it so much. And it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that at this stage in life, right? Like
Yeah.
you're always kind of going back to that, or I am anyway, lately.
Yeah.
Seems.
Like going back to like really believing that that's the greatest compass.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting because it's actually been through motherhood that I've kind of really opened up more to my intuition. I see a lot of synchronicities with myself and my daughter and my kids, and these like deep connections that you just can't quite explain. Like, it's more than coincidence. And I think it just brought a little bit more awareness or opened my perspective a little bit to like, there is this connection that call it intuition, call it, I think people call it many different things, right? Depending on your belief system. But yeah, it became a little more apparent. It was like I couldn't deny it. My kids are like this mirror reflecting it back of like, yeah, yeah, your gut is there. In fact, there's been times my daughter, I feel, is the voice of my intuition, and in the sense
Wow.
of I will be questioning and in my head, and she'll come up and just say something, what seems like out of nowhere, and
Yeah.
it's spot on. And it's kind of like, it feels like my inner voice speaking to me. And there's a part of me that has come to believe that I'm so like, well, I'm sure it'll come out in the interview and conversation, but I'm so like logical and rational and that, I'm a skeptic, right, to that. And so I do think it kind of took this in my face, my daughter just like saying it, so I couldn't deny it. Very interesting, but it's really been through the motherhood journey that so much of that has opened up, and I'm leaning more and more into my intuition, and and it's working. And in the shift in life, the ways that used to serve me to power through, and I have unlimited capacity, it's like I don't have that anymore. Like, I need to lean into my intuition, right? Like I don't have the capacity to just do all and see what works out. I need to be a little more selective and intentional, I think. So, yeah, the intuition helps with that. If you can just listen and open to it.
Welcome back, Mama's fans. Today, we're talking about creativity in a place you might not immediately expect to find it: finance. Our guest is Marie Cammack, Division Manager of the Costa Mesa, California ICM office. Marie has spent more than 2 decades helping individuals and businesses navigate their financial lives, from investments and retirement to college savings, real estate planning, asset preservation, and insurance needs. But as you'll hear in this conversation, Marie's approach to finance is about so much more than numbers. Marie has always been someone people turn to when they have a problem. Whether it's helping clients navigate a financial challenge or helping someone think about their future, she steps in, finds a solution, and makes things easier. Marie shares how leadership itself is a form of creativity and creation, and that all of us have a creative arc to our lives. She also shares about how her creative gifts were nurtured from a young age, how art helped build confidence, and how Marie's ability to think both analytically and creatively are an important part of how she communicates and serves her clients. Marie opens up about how becoming a mom actually changed her relationship with confidence, doubt, and intuition. Parenting, she says, can be humbling, and it has pushed her to become more selective, intentional, and willing to listen to her intuition. We also get into the psychology of money and how Marie combines technical financial knowledge with creativity and empathy. For Marie, the goal isn't simply to know the tools, it's to understand the person sitting across from her and figure out what will truly work for their life. So, whether you're a creative professional, a business owner, a parent, a planner, or someone who would rather avoid thinking about money altogether, this conversation has something for you. Let's dive in with Marie Cammack. You've always been that person where like someone's like, I got a problem. Like, I don't know how to take notes, Marie. I don't know what I'm doing in calculus. And you're like, let me teach you. And you are worried about your future. Let's plan for something for indefinite goodness for you. You're like, oh, Athletes, they're being taken advantage of. Let's find a way to make my friends who are athletes succeed in life financially for the rest of their lives.
Yes. Wow, it sounds so good when you say it like that. Well, I don't know. I mean, at the core, I think going to what you're saying about adaptability or flexibility or, that, and when as part one a program I did had me reflect on like gifts, like what are your true like talents, like what you're born with, right? And like to do that exercise and identify it, which is awkward and weird because when you like are highlighting your own gifts, you
Yeah, you
almost
don't
have to,
like talking about yourself at all.
yeah,
We would walk into rooms and I'd be like, Marie did this. Marie did that. Did you know Marie finished college in 2 years?
it was not 2 years.
Do you know how many
Two
AP
and a
classes
quarter.
she ate?
Well, I do.
You don't like talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that so there's many things. I don't know where it comes from, but I am someone who's just born with I'm good with right brain and left brain, like both. I have both. And when I really look at it, so do my parents. And when I really think about that, because my dad's an engineer, right? So very analytical detail, but he does design engineering. It's like when he worked for Disney, it's like, oh, we're building a ride. We need a hinge that does XYZ that doesn't exist. And then he made it. So there's this creative streak. And then in through roles of leadership that he's held, because I feel like we're all creators, everybody. A lot of people think creators are just creatives, like art and music and film and whatnot. But leadership is a form of creation, I think. So to me, when I really look throughout my whole family, extended and otherwise, it's like, yeah, we all kind of have this creative arc to us. But I think all humans do, right? It's just a matter of knowing it or calling it that. So my dad was very much both. My mom, very creative. She's always written and done poetry or just with events and themes. And she's just she's going to do it all out. And then she's very organized. So there's that detail oriented component, right? So it's just when I really think about it, and my sister too, like really, like we all kind of have that. So I do feel that things came with growing up, not because someone told me or put this pressure or told me I was good at this or whatever. I just found that things tended to come easy. Like I had a high aptitude. I could do art and I excelled in that. We were athletic and I did pretty good. I was on All Stars or whatever you want to call, like I just and then intelligence, like I did really good with school. I do think my gifts in school or intelligence, like test taking, really. And that's where I think my intuition really did come in back in the day. Because I would like look at a test and think of like the person who wrote the question and what were they trying to get me to do. And when I would read things, even in how I studied, I was very creative in it. I'd underline and color code and circle and highlight. So there's a lot of a visual component to my learning. And I wouldn't say I have a photographic memory, but it's one of those things like I could just like pull these things and kind of remember them. So I also found in that wasn't always easy for everybody else. And so like what you're talking about within school, like people would use my notes or the teacher would explain it one way and then I would find ways to re-explain it. And that's where I think there's a lot of creativity comes through in my communication skills and like the code switching and being able to talk if I'm meeting with someone who's an Ivy League graduate and being able to talk in that vocabulary in a way that's comfortable for them versus someone who's in a totally different situation and a different dialect or vocabulary and being able to adapt, and that's come through life experience. But I just those things of like that golden brain, it's called, I guess, when you're the right and left brain, and then like kind of a communication bridge, like being able to translate and I think I just feel joy when if it's something that comes easy for me to just be able to give it. And I really just like giving it. And I feel like what's meant to come back comes back. And because it's, again, it comes easy to me. And yes, I've put in years of work and training like professionally or and other things, even in school. Like I put in hours to be able to know it well enough to explain it to others. So I'm not saying it was without effort, but there's at my core, I just feel like knowledge should be free and given. And I'm at odds with a lot of people on that, especially professionally, when it comes to like intellectual property and all of that. But I just in my core believe that that's part of my purpose of like these things come easy and I'm meant to share and make it easy for others and bring ease and make things good. And finance is a great place to do it because it creates so much stress and separation and conflict. And it also is so beautiful in what it can do, and so I really like that.
To do this kind of thing, that you've always been adaptable.
Mm.
And it's like, where does this come from? I mean, like, is it the steep love that you grew up with where like your parents were
Mm.
like your grandparents were so highly involved in your life?
Early on, my grandma's a teacher, or an art teacher. She taught stained glass and she's an artist, beautiful, amazing artist. And she noticed at a very young age that I was skilled in my art. So my parents, but my mom, really getting me into the art classes and then having me enter art contests. And I do think what that really built for me early on were these opportunities to win, and when you start stacking wins at a young age, like think of what that does for your confidence. And luckily I won. So it helped build confidence. I could also see the flip to that of like, what if you didn't? Right. And it felt like a pattern of failure or something. But it helped because I really, from a young age, from her entering the art contest or calling the local paper to have a little write up about me, hence Jessica being like, oh, people know Marie. Like, there's this part of me that just wants to shirk in the shadows of hearing that because it was put forward. But again, it built this confidence where I found now in doing that parts work and reflecting back, I realized like I really moved through my adolescence and even my young adult years with this mindset of like, if anyone can do it, I can do it. To have no doubt, like what? Now I'm like, yeah, right. I got doubt all over, but how amazing to have that um way, and it kept validating because things kept working out and it was great, but then in life, not everything works out. And then slowly doubt creeps in and parenting is humbling and more doubt crept in. And then you kind of, you hit milestones and look back of where I think I'd be in, all of the above that everybody does. It's just human nature. And slowly this doubt that seemingly didn't exist. There were nerves or anxiety, but not doubt. Like there was still confidence. Like, well, I'll be decent enough to not embarrass myself.
Mhm.
And so then when that started to creep in, and that's where a lot of the work I've been doing has just been like, okay, what you did before is not going to work on the go forward. So how do you kind of move going forward, right? So yeah, but I do think all of that and the art and the was a big part of it. And my creativity is very interesting, my relationship with art, because when I was younger, it was very much about perfectionism and copying it and it looking exactly like the thing I was drawing. It felt like a project, like a thing I had to win or succeed in and do really well. And this wasn't from outside people. This is all me. I put all of that on myself, really. And this perfectionism, it's all internal. And so I would find when I was younger and I was in class, great, you had lessons once a week. There's your 2 hours. You get into it. And then as I got older or I'm in college and whatever, it's like the idea of sitting down and doing art meant I have to find 2 hours and get focused. Or if I walked away from it when I came back, I'd have to go back and retouch and start over. And it'd take me a while to get back into flow. And so I found myself just not doing it. And
Wow.
I was always envious of Jessica because she could just do stuff from her mind. She didn't have to look at something and copy it. She would just create stuff. And I'm like, how do you even do that? Like, I can't, I would sit down, I'm like, I don't know how to draw.
And
Let me find
I'd be like, you're so amazing. Why didn't you just go do it? Like, why? It's perfect just when it comes out of you. Like, she draws.
oh my gosh.
She just draws with such ease.
Oh, that's so pretty.
But okay, see how that's unfinished?
That's finished because I love things that are not meticulous. Like I love the unfinished edges and the color outside the lines type approach.
Yeah.
As an artist, visually, I like that's pleasing to me. So that unfinishedness is, I love that. Like I would frame that.
Yeah, I had her give it to me. She's like, it's not finished. I'm like, just give it to me.
Love
It's
that.
amazing. I was like, what? That's amazing. I'm like, I
Yeah.
love it. It's like, it's so symbolic too. Look at it. Because the cub,
Right.
the
Yeah.
cub is born and it's not fully developed yet.
Well, that now makes it sound like a masterpiece of intention in that piece I created for you. It's so symbolic. Really, it was like I was probably running out of time or maybe didn't like the way it looked.
You were like, I need to finish it. That's what you said to me. And I was like, give it to me.
And then Jessica was just like, this is like your signature style, I think. And the finishing part,
But that's so funny that how important focus and finish and get those edges right where you want them is so important to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you create something artistically that resonates with some people,
I
right?
know.
It's just, and I think, isn't that the point of art? If you are comfortable with presenting that, like and saying, but as an artist, that might not be how you want to present yourself,
Right. Isn't
right?
that interesting? That disconnect between what you see in your mind and what you want it to be on paper, I see that in my kids. They're very artistic and they'll get in and get frustrated. Like, even when they were little, like at 2, and one of them got all frustrated making art and like started ripping pages and throwing them down. And both of my parents just looked right at me, like, looks familiar. I'm like, yep. What can I say? I mean, even now, so I've been actually through the kids, I've kind of been really reintroduced to art and kind of redefining my relationship with it. And encouraging them to do it, what am I going to do? Sit there when they're like, it doesn't look perfect. And I'm like, yeah, it does. I'm like talking to myself as a child, right? I'm like, it's beautiful. All art is good art. And like the things that I should have been telling myself or I've come to learn.
That's like, sorry, it's like that psychology thing my mom used to talk about, where she'd say, now tell little Jessica that it's okay. And you're like doing it for yourself. You're like,
yeah. Well, just by doing the art with them, it's like I'm not sitting there trying to like go back and read, it just kind of came out. Cause it's like if I'm going to sit there and do art with them and encourage them to draw whatever, and like, Langston will be like, how do you draw a shark or a T-Rex? And I'm like, I don't know, I need a picture. And then it's like, no. And I'm like, oh, I gotta just draw it. And he's following along with me. I'm just like, and I'm looking at mine going, no. And he's
That's
like, it's great,
because
but
it is great. It's so amazing. You and Justin are both incredible artists. That's like,
well, so it's what's opened up for me is so someone, the Monisha's husband, Jonathan, that does a lot of somatic work with me. It's like how we carry things in our body. That has been really beneficial for me. But that's another interview, I think. But he encouraged me to do what was it, like 2-minute art? And I laughed at him. I'm like, what do you mean 2-minute art? He's like, draw for 2 minutes, whether it's done in 2 minutes. And I'm like, because my daughter Laura will sit down, boom, 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 fully finished picture, colored everything. And I'm like, how do you do that? And the first time I did it, it was 20 minutes, but that was still short for me. And it was just terrible in my opinion, like just so rough and whatever. And then he had me doing this exercise of morning pages in the morning where you just write for like however many minutes or fill pages. And so some of that kind of helped open up. And then I was kind of on this journey of really thinking about my grandma a lot, and I found in my drawers a book she'd given me called The Complete Artist. And she'd written in it. It was like from when I graduated or something. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, that's what it was. I was looking for an art book for Alora. She wanted to learn to draw something. And I thought of my grandma. I'm like, she gave me art books. That's how it came about. And anyways, something that I've always wanted to be able to draw well are portraits. And I've just people in particular and their likeness. Can you think of my perfectionism there? Because like any little difference like changes someone's complete look. Like if there's anywhere you'd want it to kind of look like look real, it's there, right? And so it's just something that's always been intimidating to me. And I read the chapter on that. And then and in the guidance, it was like, draw yourself. And so I took a selfie and like zoomed in on the eye and I sat there one day, and I sketched this eye. And I'll find these moments in my art. I'll hit this point. I look at it, I'm like, it doesn't look anything like it. And I want to quit, like almost every time.
yeah.
And what I noticed, I was like, just keep going. And then once I get over that, it just comes. And when I was done and I looked at it, I was like, this looks exactly like my eye. And I almost had a feeling like, was that even my hand doing that? Like, really? But I just had to get there. And so it's been really nice to kind of open up into this more like
Oh, Marie, that's just
open relationship with art. You know,
Yeah.
it's been really nice. And I'll have these like creative streaks. Like I went through a phase, usually it's in December because it's Christmas and I think of my grandma because she was always big on Christmas. And one Christmas I was doing a bunch of crocheting, or another one, whatever, these different things. I get in these like phases. And it was a couple Christmases ago when my husband Justin decided he wanted to start a new business. And I was in the zone and flow and I created his logo. And it was really cool because he had an idea of what he wanted. And then I just went and went and went and went and made it. And it was just how beautiful, right? To be able to bring that creativity and
And it
to
was from your vision. It wasn't from a picture.
exactly. I didn't copy it. I created it.
Right.
Like he had an idea. He's very artistic. So he did a rough sketch of like ish, but then I did all the lettering and all of that. So that's been amazing to kind of bring my creativity back in like, the more traditional sense of art forms.
Yeah.
I mean, I bring creativity in everything in my life, especially in my work.
That you do with finance. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I think, so a lot of people think finance is just numbers, dollars and cents and spreadsheets and analytics. And it is. I mean, that's part of it. But it's also an art, and wealth is very subjective. And I think a lot of people are hardwired to kind of think like there's a right way and a wrong way. And that just comes from society, right? Of us judging each other and one another of like, oh, so and so did this. Oh, they shouldn't have done that. Or I did that. Or what did you do? And that kind of weird comparison, blame, thinking that there's a right way and a wrong way. That part. I mean, there are some things that are fundamentally wrong. But I mean, within it, there's a spectrum. So, like, for example, if I'm looking at someone's financial situation, it's not just about is it good or is it bad, but how does it relate to them? And that's the behavioral part, like the preferences. So I could look in a textbook. Okay, someone who's 40 years old and wants to retire in 25 years, this is the risk they should have. This is what they should do, da 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 da. But if you're talking to the person, and the way they interact with money, the way their relationship is with money, when I factor that in, it might show that this 40-something-year-old, where the textbook says they should be allocated a certain way with risk, maybe they should be here because that's their comfort. That's what's right for them. So an outsider looking in, not knowing all of that, could be like, oh, you're doing it wrong. You should be allocated like you should have done this. You should have done that. So that's one way because it's so much more than just dollars and cents. It's really the behavioral part of finance and how people relate to money and their psychology of money. That's where the creative part comes in for me because I have all the technical knowledge. So I know all the tools. So it's like, great, I can alleviate that for them, because I'm going to have their best interest and know all the things. So going back to what Jess was talking about, the notes and the knowing it, like that serves me well so I can serve my clients well because I know a lot about a lot, and can because I have the capacity. And so I can pull from it, and figure out what works for them. And I really try to literally put myself in their shoes based on not how I feel about money and wealth for me and my family, but how they do. And so then my advice, I'm really like putting on their hat. I'm doing my best to. So a lot of my work is in that deep understanding of the person because like that part, I know all the technical stuff. There's a million ways you could put 20 financial advisors in a room, give them the same exact client case and come up with 20 different answers. And none of them were wrong and none of them were like right. Like it's a spectrum. What do you really want your money to do? How do you want to feel? Like really? In the same way, like how do you define success or good parenting, right? It's like anything, but for some reason we're also hardwired to be like with
Yeah.
money, which creates conflict and comparison and blame and all these things. So there's that part where I feel I'm really bringing creativity because I'm having to like pull from my universe, problem solving, right? Like my dad, the engineer, we need this hinge, make it. So how do I take all of those things out there and available, which there's so many, and build the thing that's right for them, you know? So that's one way. And then the other, I think there's a couple other ways that like my artistic lens and creativity come into my work because I'm able to see many perspectives of money and wealth. Like I did this exercise where I was told, it was also through Monisha's work, of course, where it was a prompt of money is, and you were supposed to just write like whatever words, adjectives. I think it was adjectives, right? When I did this exercise, I kept going and going and going. And I started to like, it was very trippy. I had this like emotional response. Like I could feel it in my body. And I was just going and going. And I'm like, and I had to pause like after 10 minutes. And I just, and I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, like I see all sides of money. And that became my thing of like, oh, no wonder. So I think that that helps though, because in art, like when you're drawing, like you're always taught, you're working on it and then you step back, right? And you zoom out. And so I think I bring that to the table if I'm able to, people get stuck in silos and they get too analytical with their money. And then it's more that zoom out and I'm able to kind of see it. And sometimes like it's, you know, it might be a little non-traditional, but I'm pretty open with it. Now I fully accept it and I'm just very open with it with my clients, but I'll tell them, I got the engineer side, I get all analytical, I'm going to run the numbers, and then I zoom out. I tell them this and I lean into my creative side and I just sit with it and I can start to see the money flow. I can see the plan. And then I draw it. I literally draw it with boxes and
Like the artwork?
yeah, like draw like on paper. And everyone's like, "You're writing so good." Like these drawings I make, it seems so elementary. Like I have all this software that does all this modeling, and then it's like I draw it, and people are like, "I get it," and I can see it.
Creative Mamas Unplugged is produced by Breatheasy Productions with music by Jeremy Jurin. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give my mama 5 stars and keep coming back. Thanks to us kids, there are plenty of stories to tell, and you are not alone.
We are inspired by you. Thank you for joining our Creative Mamas community. Support Creative Mamas Unplugged on Patreon to get your name in the credits, receive extra content, and earn some fun prizes. With this, we can keep creating, uplifting, and growing this incredible community together. We love you so much. Applause.